Hey gamers, it's G from the corner, and we are now officially under a week away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's so much happening, there's so much releasing. And one game that is Nintendo published that keeps getting forgotten about is the weirdly priced and released Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. You see, Nintendo usually launches their consoles, at least the last few, with a casual offering for the masses. We had Wii Sports, Nintendo Land, 1-2 Switch. Sometimes they've been pack-in, sometimes they haven't, sometimes they've been budget priced, sometimes they haven't. This game right here looks like the most pack-in of all. This game looks more similar to the AR games on 3DS than any of the three games I just listed, yet it is being sold separately. No way to get it with the console. Digitally only, though, and it comes down to about 15 Canadian dollars. I am very confused by the decision here. I think they kind of just did it because they said, well, we made this, why not just charge for it? People will buy it, and even if only a few people buy it, we make more money off of it than we do if it's free. Whatever, it's nothing too crazy. Doesn't look like anything too interesting either, but yeah, $15 for this, it's kind of lame. Although, granted, it's not as lame as 1-2 Switch, but, it's kind of unfortunate that the level of standard for a pack-in casual launch game is 1-2 Switch, because that game is a load of garbage, whereas this probably isn't as bad and is way cheaper, but is still not cool. It's nowhere near as cool as Wii Sports or Nintendo Land. Well, what if I told you all that there is actually an alternative from Nintendo themselves that you could get that is 2 whole Canadian dollars cheaper than this game? You're totally expecting some sort of loophole here, and there is. It's a 2020 game that was originally a mobile game that got ported to Switch randomly, and barely anyone ever plays or talks about this game. But it is one of my favorite games released on Switch 1, and I think any Switch 2 owner who is looking for something quick, cheap, and casual with multiplayer capabilities should definitely pick this game up as soon as possible. You don't have to wait till Switch 2 to get this. You can get this on your old Switch. There's no enhancements for it on Switch 2 whatsoever, but just get it as soon as possible. It's Part-Time UFO. Now, what in the heck is Part-Time UFO? Well, Part-Time UFO was a mobile game released in 2018 by HAL Laboratory. Yes, the Kirby people. Of course, I love it. And it got a Switch port with new content, multiplayer, and a ton of new modes for about 12 Canadian. And you know what? It is more than worth it at that price. There is so much to this game. You could keep coming back for hours and hours and hours. I definitely think you'll get your money's worth. And if you want to pick up something extra and fun from Nintendo, to play alongside Mario Kart at launch, I think this is a perfect game to give your time and money to. But what exactly is Part-Time UFO? You play as this little UFO dude called Jobski, and he goes around doing a bunch of part-time jobs. There's different versions of a dozen or so of them, and each one will have you doing different tasks. You see, you are a UFO that can throw down a crane to pick up objects at any time. Essentially, imagine if they made a character out of the crane from those plush crane games you'd see at arcades, often called UFO catchers in Japan, and there you go, that's the entire concept for this game right here. It basically just takes that idea of picking things up and putting them down and does as much as possible with it. Sometimes you'll be building houses, sometimes you'll be catching fish, herding cows, helping balance circus animals. There's so much variety to this game, and honestly, it's all fun. It's all super cute. The game is charming as heck. I love the art style so much. That thick pixel art outline, it's 8-bit, but it's not really 8-bit. The palette is something you can never do on 8-bit systems, but 16-bit systems wouldn't go for this because they'd be too busy trying to make more detailed graphics, and obviously there's plenty of cheating as well, stuff moves and wobbles around, there's a pixel ratio here, but it's definitely not adhered to whatsoever. The music is also great. It does that thing where there's really only one song and they remix it all the time, and I think, it really sets the mood. There's this weird kind of choir that sings Part-Time UFO in every song, and it can be grating sometimes, but other times it really fits. It reminds you what game you're playing, and it just kind of adds to the vibe. Honestly, my personal favorite stages have to be the restaurant and toy shop stages on the aesthetic alone. I mean, I love picking up these pancakes, and the bonus version of one of the toy shop stages is a Kirby plush collecting minigame. I mean, obviously I love this game. I mean, come on. Duh. And as I said, you can play this entire game in co-op, which is super, super fun. You know, you and a friend can go do all these jobs together, dress up Jobski and Red Jobski or whatever they're called in a bunch of cute outfits. It's, oh my god, this game is amazing. And there's even other modes on top of that. There's the Tower of Mastery, which is like this kind of Jenga tower where you're given a bunch of objects and you have to see how high you can stack it. This is super, super fun. There's like a little extra kind of treasure hunt map that you get after beating the game. And, you know, it's interesting. I've never beaten it. It's not my favorite part of the game personally, but it's got some cool aesthetics. And you know what? It's a pretty tense version of what you usually find in the main game. Each level has a bunch of missions and an extra version, like I mentioned earlier. So there's plenty to do and keep you coming back for more. There's also tons of game-wide achievements as well. And when you collect like 4 of them in a batch, you'll get like a cute little animation. This game is fantastic. It's full of life. It's full of charm. Things that I'm sure a lot of people are complaining about Welcome Tour not having. And, you know, it sucks because we don't even really know much about that game despite it being out in like less than a week. There was no overview trailer. All we've seen is the trailer and whatever people managed to play of it at the events, which I have heard was not very good. So I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up Welcome Tour when it comes out, but I just wanted to use this as an excuse to talk about a game that I think is fantastic and I think more people should play. And you know what? It just feels like the perfect Switch 2 launch game. I mean, like, it's a game with multiplayer built in. It's kind of casual. You know, obviously it's not as casual as a Wii Sports or even a Nintendo Land to some extent, but it's, you know what? It's fun enough. And I think you could probably get anybody who has a passing interest in wanting to play video games to try it out. You know, I think it fills that need. And hey, it's even cheaper than Welcome Tour, technically, at least in Canada. Is it $9.99 in the US? I think it might just be $9.99 in the US, which is the same price as Welcome Tour. It's cheaper in Canada. So yeah, Canadians, maybe this is a Canadian launch title. I don't know. Yeah, that's really it though. I just wanted to talk about this game because it's so good. And you know what? Maybe using Welcome Tour as a little disguise boosted its views. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Switch 2 is very close. I'll see you guys when that comes around. Keep yourselves recorded for more very, very soon.